people and investors, how you doing? It's Corey from Pop the Chart, and it is time for another edition of a Pop the Chart earnings release show. And yo, I'm here, and I got your earnings right now on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Virgin Galactic, I hope you're ready to rock, because we're going to have the earnings call. We're going to have a whole bunch for the Q1 2021 Virgin Galactic SPCE earnings special right here on Pop the Chart. First and foremost, I am not a financial advisor. I cannot tell you what to do with your money. You got to invest in the market at your own risk. I will give you the most educated information that I can give you so that you can make the most educated decision in the market. All right, so let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Make sure you hit up that. Make sure you hit up the live chat. Also, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I do the show each day, market open through market close, to keep that in mind. All right, but this is a special right now. Virgin Galactic Holdings Q1 EPS of minus 55 cents. All right, so negative 55 cents. Missed the negative 27 estimate. So yes, earnings was a miss. I will have more in just a second as we get into that. But so here it is, reported quarterly losses of minus 55 cents per share, which missed the analyst consensus of minus 25 cents per share by 103.7%. This is an 83.33% decrease over losses of minus 30 cents per share from the same period last year. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as we get into this. Alright, so it's not that it wasn't expected. I mean, we got to look at Q1. If you go to Virgin Galactic and pull the chart up, it's automatic. You can kind of tell what happened. Alright, so obviously they're saying Virgin Galactic shares are trading lower after the company reported worse than expected Q1 EPS. It's going down currently. So don't look at this 17.97. That's what we closed at. What you want to look at is right here. And then right here at this this point right here, $16.20 right now. Virgin Galactic just falling pretty hard, pretty harsh as far as earnings. So Gregory, what's up? Welcome. Jason said, looks like SPCE. It looks like it tanked. It didn't just tank. It's tanking. It's going down pretty hardcore right now on Virgin Galactic on the earnings release. It's coming down hard. But for those of you, one thing that I noticed I thought was really, really crazy, and this is just prior to the the earnings release at the end of the day here. I was pulling it up and I looked and I noticed at first I thought it was a glitch. I literally did. I thought it was a glitch. But if you look, if I pull up this side-by-side comparison, look at GameStop. So I'll pull up GameStop. Oh, my bad. I'll pull up SPCE here. Virgin Galactic. Alright. I'll pull this down. Obviously, it's really coming down pretty hard anyway. This is on the 1-minute chart. But if you look at the 30-minute, I'm going to use a 30-minute chart just for a second. Alright, so let's go to this. I mean, obviously, ignore this right here. But I'm going to zoom out here. Look at this. I literally thought for a second that this chart was the same chart. Earlier today, I look at it and I'm going, GameStop. 30-minute chart comes down, flat, down, and then, I mean, it looks identical until you get to that point right there, right? And then that's when GameStop kind of changes, right? But they were the same. I was like, whoa, what's up with this? I'm thinking it's the hedge funds. Like, what is it that was making that so bad? Or making them so similar? I mean, I'm almost identical. But no, it was not. Excuse me. It was not the glitching out. I hit a refresh button like a bunch of times, but no. So let's go back to Virgin Galactic as I get back into the earnings release. Here it is. Excuse me, as I give you more, I apologize. I'm actually getting a little bit over a cold, so and I finished drinking all my water. You know what? Worst case, cough drop, right? Boom! Cough drop! That'll help. I don't know. I apologize. It's almost gone. I'm just down to that last little bit of it. But anyway, let's go to the 1-minute chart so we can look in really close to what's actually going on here with the chart. But make sure if you're new to the channel, hit the like button if you you're more welcome to hit the subscribe button too as well. I do, like I said, I do a show regular market open through market close each Monday through Friday. So come in and check that out. And then, like I said, I'm gonna have the call for you. I'm already registered, ready to go. Make sure you share out the link, let some people know about it. But I'm already registered and ready to go for the call. And we'll have the CEO, Virgin Galactic. Oh, Big Michael in the house. A little bit later on. That's expected to go live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in about 45 minutes. But yes, I do have your earnings, and it's right there, and you can see it on the screen. So what do y'all think? What do you think? Hit up the live chat. Let me know. What do you think? Are you currently buying the dip? Are you buying the dip? Because it went down pretty harsh. Now it's starting to come up. We're getting some people probably buying the dips. Buying the dips. Jason says, you get to enjoy the occasional comical musing of Mawa as well on the show. That's true. That's true. Yes. Jason is hanging out with us. Jason, one of my regs. Thank you, Jason, for coming over and hanging out. Appreciate it. But it was a crazy day in the market. It's just mind-blowing to see, like, the crypto market was even kind of taking a little bit of a hit earlier. But here's my take, right? My take on Virgin Galactic. If you just go to the weekly, I'm gonna go to the weekly chart, right, so you can see this. But yeah, obviously, like, it had its biggest moment right here, which is February 5th. What it's showing on my thing right here, February 5th, and it wasn't long after that, you know, Chamath took profits, and then you know, Sir Richard Branson took like 150 mil out, and it's just ever since, it's just, I feel like they're like, oh, this is the highest ever been, let's just take some profits, which is, I feel like that's what they did. I mean, when it boils down to it, it almost looks like what you would expect out of Virgin Galactic, right? They're gonna take off, go up to space, and then come back down for the landing, right? That's kind of what the stock chart's kind of looking at like right now. So a little bit of a dip right there off of the bad earnings miss. But hey, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, so be sure to share out the link, let some people know. And again, y'all have to compete. You got to compete in the earnings, what I call the earnings competition. Every time I do an earnings, I'm gonna see if you can beat it. I had AMC last week. I had almost 200 people in here. So of course, BlackBerry still earns the record. BlackBerry with just shy of 300, just shy of 300 people in here for BlackBerry. Of course, the people on the Stocktwits community are saying, hey, I still think it's going to be 100 by the end of this year. 100. Talking about Virgin Galactic. 100. Someone said Chamath really sold it at the right time. His communications need to be looked into. So people are actually saying, yo, man, whew. Blue Goldens in here says, damn, watching my stocks go in the toilet. I should buy more. Yes, buy the dips. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do. You got to make your own decisions. I should buy more. It's one of those things. It's like 2020 when you think you have, you know, a lot of toilet paper. You can always have more toilet paper, right? At the end of the day, it's all about getting a lot of toilet paper, right? Mike Angel, what's up? How you doing? What's our Virgin Galactic end of month price? End of month. I don't know what y'all think. Hit him up in the live chat. I'll tell you what I think as far as the chart's concerned. Well, I can tell you now the chart's not looking in your favor, but and that's I'm gonna draw some trend lines here for you, okay? Don't get mad at me. They're just trend lines, all right? But there's one right there. Question is, if we go to the daily chart, Where is the floor on this thing? There is a solid level right there in the past. Right about, yeah. So, there's a solid level of support there. I can't say it's gonna get there, right? But it's heading that way, right? You can't really, and that's if I go back to the, I'm gonna go back to the 1 hour here. It might be just, I got it pretty close. I don't know. There's a floor at 1425. Of course, it hasn't quite hit there yet, but I mean, again, it's, and this is over. These are hours. Each one of these are an hour. But each one that's black, by the way, that's a day, and then it's after hours, then a day, then after hours, and a day. So that's what you're looking at. So, I mean, sometime before the 19th of May, it looks like it's going to make a decision based on this current trend. Decision of either going to, you know, bounce off the 1425 or and move back upward out of that channel, or head back downward. That's where we're at on that. So let's go back to the 1 minute chart, and I got that chart set up, you know, so there. But that's what I got to say about it. I mean, end of month, there you go. So I said by the 19th, it's going to test that $14 mark, in my opinion. One said, the market said, screw everyone right now. Crypto suddenly took an atomic drop in minutes. And then, oh, you asked about Roblox's EPS. I mean, I could find it. I know where we're. Roblox. RBLX, yeah, that's right. Roblox. Give it a second, it's thinking. Roblox was down, EPS at 46, down from 44 year over year. So there you go. Although the sales were up, let's see, sales 386, up from 161. So they had nice sales, but their EPS was down. So that was Roblox. But we're gonna go to back to Virgin Galactic, as that is what we are covering right now. And it's heading up on a G-dub right now. George W, ladies and gentlemen. Bomb. Wait for a little bit of a run up here. Might get back to where it was at. And again, that's just people probably buying the dips. Buying the dip. We got 16 people in here. Welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming in. My name's Corey. I'm host of the show. Do the show each day, market open through market close, and then do this special earnings right now. And I do a bunch of earnings, so you can check all those videos out. And then AMC's last week was epic. Absolutely epic. Adam Aaron for AMC just like dominated the entire call. I mean, it was awesome. So all big Michael, CEO, he's gonna have to he's got some big shoes to fill this week on this Virgin Galactic call we're about to have here at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have just a little bit of time until then, but there you go. Let's see. Yes, in about 36 minutes. 36 minutes. And I do have it ready to rock, ready to go. The event. I gotta wait till about 15 minutes and then I can fully go in. But I'm already ready to go. Ready to go into the call. And I'll have that for you here coming up. So be sure, please, to share out the link. Hit up Stocktwits Twitter. Let them know. Say, hey, yo, anybody, share it out there. Discord, whatever. Say, come on in. We got the live earnings right here for Virgin Galactic. Come on in. I know there's over 100K followers, watchers on Stocktwits with Virgin Galactic. So 100K, a lot of people following it. Obviously shares kind of went down as soon as they said the EPS. There was a miss on the estimate for the Q1 2021, and then but it's heading back upward. I think some buying of the dip right there. And we'll see if it continues upward or where it goes as the call gets closer. Yeah. Jason says ETH took a big dookie on itself. Oh no. Let's pull up my the crypto. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, even Bitcoin started to go down. I mean, they was getting close to 58, and then all of a sudden it just... I think it even hit 58 for a minute. Yeah, let's see here. Yep. That they did. All right, let's see what our Virgin Galactic people were saying on Stocktwits. What's going on? Let's see. All right, so someone said, aside from not hearing an actual flight date yet, this is all good news. Get ready for this to moon to $30 overnight whenever they drop the flight date. Oh! They're gonna drop the flight date, according to somebody on Stocktwits. Someone posted a gif of a plane, just like you know, like the plane, the model plane. You throw it and it starts to take off, and they threw it and it didn't go anywhere, and it just crashes and breaks. Thinking, oh no! Oh, I can't show you that on the screen though because I get hit with the gifs and all. I can get hit. Let's see here. Virgin Galactic stock loses altitude after Q1 earnings. What investors need to know. All right, so let's read it. What investors need to know, and I will read it to you here. It says, Virgin Galactic reported first quarter financial results after the close Monday, sending the space stocks shares lower in the after-hours session. It said, what happened to Virgin Galactic Holdings? Well, it reported zero revenue in the first quarter. The company reported a loss of 55 cents per share, down from a loss of $1.86 per share in the last year's first quarter. It said, in the first quarter, the company unveiled its VSS Imagine, the first Spaceship 3 class vehicle in its fleet. The company reported 600 flights reserved as total future astronauts as of March 31st. A 3-year extension to the global Land Rover partnership was announced in the first quarter. A space advisory board was established and launched in the first quarter. We are committed to delivering one of the world's most unique and transformational customer experiences with safety at the core of everything we do. That's according to CEO Michael Colglazier. And then Virgin Galactic ended the first quarter with cash of $617 million. The company said the timing of its next flight test is being evaluated. So we were just talking about that. The timing, the flight date, when is that going to be? Let's see here. The shares of Virgin Galactic were trading 4.5% lower at $17.13 in the Monday after-hours session. And that is the article right there. Mike Angel says, I think Virgin Galactic hits $30 in a month if they can be successful in a launch. It's all about being successful, right? About showing that you can do it. Look at it bouncing right on that line right there. So yeah, so there's that. There's that with the info, and we're getting closer. We are right now. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 minutes from the call. From CEO Big Mike coming on for Virgin Galactic. So yeah, I'm curious because for those of you that have followed it, so Chapman did take a bunch out of Virgin Galactic right about the time it was like super. I believe at the very top where it was at before it just started dropping, and ever since then the stock's just kind of come down. So some people are saying that they need to check into that, but I think there's some profit taking going on. But I'm just curious to see what y'all think about that. Cause it's been the talk. It's been the talk. Anyway, for those of you that we got 12 peeps in here, make sure you, if you can, hit the like button. It does help out the YouTube algorithm to let them know that I do exist, and that kind of moves up the video a little bit in the feed, so it gets some more investors in here. It does help that out. So appreciate if you could do that. That would mean a lot. Also, you're more welcome to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, come on in and join it. I'm super close to hitting 400 subs. Super close. Almost there. My goal is 500 by end of month. That's my goal. I want to get to 500. But I'm at last I looked, I was like what? Less than 20, I think I was away. Where am I at? I gotta pull it up. It doesn't show me. I gotta go to this other screen to get it. It's taking a second. It's thinking. I'm 20 away. That's right. 20 away. 20 away from 400. 120 away from my goal for the month of 500. So come on in. If you haven't had a chance, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, join the show. Like I said, you can come hang out with some of my peeps. Juan is in here. Jason's in here. My peeps, my regs. Come on in. Gregory, yo, what up? Of course, on my regular show today, I talked about SafeMoon. Talked about SafeMoon and crypto, and we're talking about space here. Why not talk about moon, right? SafeMoon. So that's it's another cryptocurrency that's coming. That's it's been out for about 70 days now, and they're really taking off. I actually made a purchase yesterday of 6.85 million shares of it yesterday, because I mean it's super cheap, so. It's one of those lottery tickets, you just buy it, let it go, whatever. You don't look at it. Of course, they benefit you. They reward you for holding, by the way, on SafeMoon. Literally says, here's the thing. Anybody that sells SafeMoon, there's a 10% penalty. So for those of you like Virgin Galactic people that are invested, think about this. If you sold, every time you sell, they take 10% of your profits. And they take 5% of that disappears and gets deleted and burned. The other 5% gets distributed to the other investors. So you just basically get free shares. So as long as you sign up, you don't hold and you don't sell, it just keeps growing. Your shares grow. Then if the stock price continues to climb, you just make more. It's pretty sweet. It's kind of a cool concept. But so yeah, it's one of the ones I got into yesterday. But I think my wife and child have just made it home. I think they're here. You might hear them in the background. So I'm at the home studio. Yeah. So you might hear my wife got laryngitis today, so she's not gonna hear her. But you might hear my daughter because she's all about. She's chatty. She'll talk. She's 1.5 years old. She's the talk. She loves to talk. So I wonder where she got that from. Just thinking. But anyway. So here we go. We should be getting closer. Within 10 minutes, I'll be able to pull up the call. We'll get ready for the Virgin Galactic earnings call. All right. G-dub, I told you, boom, boom. It bounced right off of that line, started to head upward. So you see the, trying to get back to where it was at. You had the big fall, and then they bought the dip, and then they brought it back up, and now it's bouncing right off of that. Excuse me, that line. But it's still heading in, again. It's been falling down this trend line. If you go to, like I said, the 1 hour chart really shows it. Just coming down. So, I mean, I feel like that 14 mark is where you got to watch it. Maybe you might get a bounce off of it. Whatever. But who knows? You never know. Maybe it just decides somewhere in here it comes right on out and goes on up. It can do that. It's possible. All right. So hit up that like chat. Let me know what y'all thinking. I'm curious. Price predictions. Where do you think it's gonna go? What do you like? As far as again, it's came down pretty hard. So I mean, they're saying, you know, flight date maybe soon. Whatever. I'm curious how many signed up on the. You got to sign up on a list too. You get registered to fly to space. So I mean, again, safety is the most important thing, though. They got to figure out the safeness. Like, you don't just go up there and not be safe about it. You know, it's like they got to be able to do it. I mean, there's got to be a lot into that, a lot into it, to be able to, you know, take off, fly up to space. Come back down, land. I mean, there's a lot to that. Whoa! For just a little tidbit of info, for those of you that may not have known, a little cool fact about Mike, the CEO, Michael Colglazier, about the CEO. Michael, prior to Virgin Galactic, was the president of the Disneyland Resort in California. What? You may not have known that. The president of Disneyland. Who doesn't like someone who is the president of Disneyland? You had to be nice. It's Disneyland. Come on now. Michael, Virgin Galactic. And then, of course, the founder of the company is Sir Richard Branson. I had to say Sir Richard Branson. Knighted as Sir Richard Branson. All right, I should be able to pull it up here in about 5 minutes. I'll be able to pull up the call, be ready to go as we get ready for the to see what they're gonna say about the earnings and like where they're going and what's the plans. Again, be sure to share the link out. Let some people know about it. Say, come on in, come join. Let's go. I mean, we're getting close. We're just under 19 minutes. Alrighty. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, just in a couple minutes, I'm gonna get it set up, get it ready to rock. And to give you an idea, what I'll do is, if they do a webcast where you can actually see things, where you can actually, you know, like a visual thing, I will make sure that you can see it. I usually try to pull it up right up in here and just set it so that you can, at least see something. But then, but you'll be able to hear it. And what I'll do is, as soon as they go live and they start talking, I basically I'll turn my mic down and turn it up and crank it up. You'll be able to listen in. All right, so that's the plan. That's what I do. I get it squared away for you. Also, again, be sure to check out some other videos of technical analysis. Technical analysis of stocks. I mean, again, some of the stuff that's, you know, it's already happened. It's already, the analysis was done, you know, back when and that. But then, like I said, I do the show too as well on a regular basis, Monday through Friday, market open through market close. So you can come in and hang out with me and all my peeps. So you're more than welcome to join in for that as well. So anybody that's new, or you know, maybe you come in and you catch this video a little later on, you know, after the live stream and watch it back, you're more than welcome again to still come join me as I do these shows. And I do them only for your benefit, to be able to check it out. I mean, that's the whole point, to make sure that you guys are educated and give you some cool content, whatever, in the stock market realm of things. And but again, I do thank you to each and every one of you that have hit the like button, that have hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. And anybody else that came in and watched it, yeah, get it. Thank you. All right. All right, let's see. I should be able to get in here in just a second. Let's see. Here we go. I should be able to. If I refresh now. Yep. Yeah. Good. The music's already working. I kind of heard it a little bit. They got a presenter, so we might be able to see something. Ooh, hang on. Oh, I hit the wrong button again. Ah, come on. Oh, it's right there. Okay, so if I go do this, I can still get to it. Alright. Alright, here we go. Boop, 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 boop. First quarter 2021 investor update right here. And, oh, and then sure enough, the music, oh, that is not what I meant to hit. Where's the, really? Do I have to make it smaller to be able to, this is the only thing I don't like about some of these things is they, the music, there's not an easy way to get. There we go. We'll just do that. That'll make it easier. There we go. Got it. I got it for you now. There we go. Of course, I just have to try to figure out how to make it a little, and I can make it smaller. I want to make sure that it... There we go. And I'll just turn the volume on here in a minute. It'll be ready, so it's good to go. And I can actually make this just a hair smaller, so we can see more. There we go. Boom. Rock on. Can't beat that. So we have it up. We have it ready to rock. And we got a little over 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and then they should be going live, and I'll unmute it, and we'll be ready to go. Alrighty, boom, 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 boom. We are ready to go. Got Virgin Galactic up, pulled up, ready to go for the first quarter 2021 investor update for the earnings call. We'll have that CEO Michael, Big Mike on here soon, by the way. If we'll have that in just a few minutes, so we'll start getting some people start rolling in here. Welcome to the channel, by the way. My name is Corey. I'm the host of Pop the Chart. Do the show each day. Market open all the way through market close. We got some people coming in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And then hit up the live chat. Tell us what you think about you know, Virgin Galactic and the earnings. Obviously, he had a miss on the earnings, but hey, the call's coming up, so that's something exciting. Share the link out. Let people know. You know, I'm not sure if anybody ever does the Virgin Galactic earnings on YouTube or not, but I could be the first one. So make sure you share that out there. Let some people know. So, hey, come on in. I do these earnings calls on a regular basis, too, as well. And then I do a show each day, market open through market close. So come on in. Join the fun. We got 22 people in here as of right now. Welcome to each and every one of you as we continue to get closer and closer. And when we do, I will crank up the audio so you'll be able to hear the earnings call, and you'll be able to watch the stock chart live, side by side, next to each other. So I try to do that to make sure that you can see what's going on. And this is up to minute. This is live. It's real-time chart. This is WEBULL, the WEBULL desktop app that I have pulled up here, along with some of my other show stocks and things. And then it's kind of hidden, you can't see, but I have a live news feed over. It's kind of underneath the Virgin Galactic presentation right now for the live webcast. But yeah, so I do all kinds of fun stuff. I got some of my regulars in here. I know Jason and Juan's in here on my regs, and I got some. So then come on in. And say hi. Let us know what you think. And again, be sure, if you haven't already, hit that like button. It does help the algorithm. It also helps YouTube know, hey, I exist. It'll move up a little bit in the YouTube side of things to get some more investors to come in and check out Virgin Galactic. So make sure you do that. That's it's a big thing. That like button is the most important for getting the information out so people can see it. So thank you so much for doing that. Again, like I said, also feel free to shout the link. Copy, paste, boom. Hit it out there. Say, let's go. As we are now... we're 6.5 minutes, 6.5 minutes away from the earnings call. Yeah. We'd have the CEO on here very soon. Yeah. I'm wondering if Chairman's going to say anything, or if we're going to hear anything from Sir Richard Branson. I don't know. But I know CEO is usually Michael's in there. Cold Glazier, should I say it right? Cold Glazier. Yeah. Cold Glazier in there. And so Big Money Mike. That's what there we go. Call him that. Big Money Mike. How about that? Anyway. Apologize. My laptop's going crazy right now. I'm like, what is going on? But yeah, 23 people. Welcome each and every one of you. Last week I did the AMC earnings call. We had Adam Aaron, the CEO of AMC Entertainment. We had 100 and like almost 200. It was almost 200. It was like 180 some, 190 some people came in here. And then the BlackBerry one I did had almost 300. So be sure to share it out. Let people know. I know you got over 100K watchers on Stocktwits on Virgin Galactic. So that's massive for Virgin Galactic. So, but yeah. Also, thank you so much for hitting the like button. I appreciate it. Each and every one. It does mean a lot. That does help out a lot. That helps let people know, hey, yo, YouTube, this guy exists. But thank you. As we get closer again, as soon as we go about a minute until the call, I'll crank up the audio so y'all be able to hear it. But it is right here, ready to go. Right here on your screen, you can see the stock chart. I got the updated earnings report right there. So there's that for, yeah, you got your level 2s, everything all ready to rock right there on the screen for you. I am, let's see here. I know I was getting close, so I was getting super close to 400 subs on YouTube, which is awesome. And I think last I looked, I was 20 away. We got 22 people in here. I know some of us probably already subbed, but you get me pretty close if you haven't done that yet. I'm almost there, and my goal is 500, by the way. By the end of the month, I want to hit 500. That's my goal. But Currently setting at, what is it? Is it, let's see. Wait for its update. 1 second. 381. Yes, 19 away. I'm 19 away. We got 20 people in here. I know some of you already previously subbed, but if you haven't, feel free to do that. You can be super close to that 400 mark. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's what I'm talking about. All right, as we are. Ooh, a little over 3 minutes. A little over 3 minutes to the call. Y'all getting excited for this? Make sure you hit me up in the live chat. Say hi. Come on, introduce yourself. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid. Hit it up. Let all you peeps know. Say, yo, coming up. Say this dude's got what you need. I got what you need. Oh. You know, I was this close to starting this earnings call with, I always start up with like, hey, YouTube! Like, what up, YouTube? And I was about to be like, what up, Virgin Galactics? It was so close. I was so close. Ryan says, I'm afraid. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous to say. Yeah, it's all good, Ryan. You're all good. Welcome, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I was this close because I was like, it's the first time doing the Virgin Galactic earnings on the YouTube stream. And I was like, what up, Virgins? I mean, Galactic investors. Hey, you gotta have a little fun with it, right? Hey, if you're gonna, you know what I mean. If you're, if you're gonna put Virgin as a name, you gotta be ready for the jokes, right? You gotta say, I'm sure the jokes have been made. But 2 minutes. So here in about a minute, what I'll do is I'll crank up the audio. And again, for the peeps in here, if you haven't hit that like button, make sure you click, smash that like button, bam, and let people know, hey. So thank you. So yeah, I just I don't know. I charted it up earlier. I got a little bit of chart on Virgin Galactic to see what I think might happen. I mean, it's been on a downtrend ever since Chapman kind of took some money, and then Richard Branson took some money. Sir Richard Branson took some money, and ever since then it's kind of just downhill, right? Then the earnings ended up being not too hot. I had a dippity dip right off the earnings report there, and then people bought the dip. Now it's coming back up. So not quite to where it was, but close. Yeah, it ended the day at 17.95, and it's currently 17.28. All right, so we're less than a minute, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the audio. I'm gonna unmute it. Unmute. You're gonna hear some. You're gonna hear some. I'm probably gonna get hit on YouTube for copyright for playing this, but it is what it is. But you're gonna hear some hold music, and then they'll pop on here very, very soon with the call. And I'm sure they'll probably do a Q&A session as well. But hey, before they come on, again, make sure you join me. I do the show each day, market open to market close. My name's Corey. I'm not a financial advisor. Cannot tell you what to do with your money. You gotta make invest in the market at your own risk. Make your own decisions. However, I'll give you the most educated information that I can give you. I have a whole bunch of tools at my disposal. I got the charts, obviously live charts. I got the live news feed, which is kind of hidden. You can't really see that right now, but it's on the screen. But a news feed. I also have movers and gainers tools, so I keep you updated on what's moving in the market. I got stock screeners, all kinds of information and availability to keep you updated and informed. So thank you again to each and every one of you for being a part of the Virgin Galactic earnings special right now on this Monday, May 10th, 2021. I appreciate each one of you. Make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subbed yet, hit the sub button to come join us for the show. So thank you. It's 5 p.m. They should be coming on any moment. As soon as they do, we'll be ready to go right here on, ladies and gentlemen, say it with me, Pop the Chart.
Good afternoon. My name is Rob, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to Virgin Galactic's first quarter 2021 earnings conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you'd like to ask a question during this time, simply press star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you'd like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. Hosting today's conference call will be Seth Zaslow, Vice President of Investor Relations. As a reminder, today's call is being recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to Mr. Zaslow. Please go ahead.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Virgin Galactic's first quarter 2021 earnings conference call. On the call with me today are Michael Colglazier, Chief Executive Officer, Mike Moses, President of Space Missions and Safety, Swami Iyer, President of Aerospace Systems, and Doug Ahrens, Chief Financial Officer. Following our prepared remarks, we will open the call for questions. Our press release was issued about 45 minutes ago and is available on our Investor Relations website, as is the slide presentation that will accompany today's remarks. Let me refer you to slide 2 of the presentation, which contains our safe harbor disclaimer. During today's call, we may make certain forward-looking statements. These statements are based on current expectations and assumptions, and as a result, are subject to risks and uncertainties. Many factors could cause actual events to differ materially from the forward-looking statements made on this call. For more information about these risks and uncertainties, please refer to the Risk Factors section of Virgin Galactic's Second Amendment to its annual report on Form 10-K, filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and other documents filed by Virgin Galactic from time to time. Readers are cautioned not to put undue reliance on forward-looking statements, and the company specifically disclaims any obligation to update the forward-looking statements that may be discussed during this call. Please also note that we will refer to certain non-GAAP financial information on today's call. You can find reconciliations of the release. With that, I'd now like to turn the call over to Michael.
Thanks, Seth, and good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. As part of my plan to execute on our strategy to grow and scale the business, I've brought in some exceptional talent in key areas. Doug Ahrens is our new CFO, and Swami Iyer is our new head of Aerospace Systems. Doug has extensive experience as a public company CFO with companies in complex technology and manufacturing environments. Doug's leadership and relational skills and his expertise in capital markets and M&A will be incredibly valuable as we expand and monetize the business. Swami joined Virgin Galactic in March to lead the team responsible for building and designing our current and future fleet of vehicles, while also having the deep process and production orientation necessary to lead our aerospace teams as we build out commercial operations. We're incredible. I will start with an update on the business and our key areas of focus. Update on our upcoming flight. Swami will talk about his initial impressions and how he's viewing our fleet expansion strategy. And following Swami's remarks, I'll provide some comments on our commercial plans and how we are positioning the organization for scale.
I apologize. I just hit refresh on it. I don't know if they just had a bad feed or what.
Readiness.
There you go.
Completing our test flight program and preparing for commercial service. Number 2, fleet expansion. Adding new spaceships and motherships to our fleet and pivoting the organization from an R&D phase to a manufacturing phase. And number 3, developing our customer experience and commercial strategy to create expanded revenue opportunities. We set an ambitious schedule for 2021 and beyond. It's a dynamic time for both our company and the space industry as a whole, and we are entering what we believe is going to be a long period of growth and expansion. Turning to slide 5. Let's start with fleet readiness. Our planned flight test schedule consists of 4 flights. These flights are intended to demonstrate our capabilities for the 3 markets that we plan to serve with our suborbital spaceflight system. Those are private astronauts, microgravity research, and suborbital training for professional astronauts. We are committed to delivering one of the world's most unique and transformational customer experiences, with safety at the core of everything we do. Safety is designed into our vehicles, our policies and procedures, and our decision-making, and safety is the foundation of our culture. Typically, we don't use an earnings call as a forum for a detailed discussion of the specifics of our engineering systems and processes. However, Given the level of interest around our spaceflight program, today we will share a more granular look into the steps that we've taken to prepare for our next flight. I'll now turn the call over to Mike Moses.
Thanks, Michael. Moving to slide 6. Before I discuss the steps we've taken over the past 2 months, it would be helpful to provide background on the testing program and modifications we have made to the spaceship over the past year. As you know, our testing program is designed to be a process of continuous improvement. We have test objectives that we target with every flight, and each one of them is an opportunity to gather data to improve performance and move our spaceflight program forward. Last summer, we upgraded the flight control computer in VSS Unity. That is the system that controls the horizontal stabilizers, which are the main flight control surfaces used on the spaceship during the boost phase of a rocket-powered flight. The upgrade allowed for improved performance of the current system and provided an architecture for enhancements for future spaceships. The change consisted of 2 new control computers and some changes to the wiring harnesses in Unity. As you can see in the graphic on slide 6, the control computers are located within the cabin, and there are electric motor-driven actuators in the tail booms, right next to the horizontal stabilizers themselves. These upgrades were tested on the ground and during glide flights at Spaceport America last year, with great results. Our flight in December 2020 would have tested that new system during a rocket-powered boost, the final step of our testing program on that hardware. But as you know, a fail-safe abort was triggered when the rocket motor computer lost connection. The cause of the rocket motor computer issue was electromagnetic interference, or EMI. The source of that elevated EMI was the new flight control computer. The system is designed to translate pilot inputs into commands to move an electric motor, and it was the unintended feedback of those motor commands that generated EMI. While this prevented us from reaching space, it was not a safety issue. Our pilots and systems returned to the runway safely as designed. EMI is not uncommon in aerospace systems, and our approach to managing it has been measured and methodical, given that the actual flight conditions can be difficult to replicate on the ground. Over the past quarter, we've been working diligently to resolve the issue, focusing on 2 major elements within our spaceship. First, we addressed the EMI being generated by the new flight control computer. We added hardware filters to suppress the EMI that is being generated within the computer itself. This change drastically reduces the amount of EMI at the source, stopping it from ever entering into the larger system in the first place. Second, we improved the wire harness shielding and added components to suppress conductive EMI. These changes were made to the wires that carry power, as well as the signal wires that transmit measurement data back to the flight control computer. Our approach has been systematic, focused on eliminating as much of the EMI as possible. We were able to troubleshoot and test both in the lab as well as on our spaceship, and work to rapidly develop prototype solutions to refine our approach. As of today, the final installation of the flight hardware is complete, and in end-to-end checkouts, we were able to compare the current EMI to previous levels, and we can see that we've significantly reduced the EMI on the order of 10 to 20 decibels. Now, if you're not familiar with the terminology, decibels are a measurement of noise intensity measured on a logarithmic scale. So a reduction of 10 to 20 decibels means that we've reduced the EMI intensity to a level that is over 90% lower than it was before. Our reviews have concluded that we have sufficiently addressed the EMI issue and that Unity is ready for flight and the start of its pre-flight launch checks. I want to take a moment to thank an incredible team of engineers, mechanics, and support staff for their diligence and hard work that led to this fantastic result. Now, as part of our readiness program for the next space flight, we also conducted 3 flights with our mothership, VMS Eve, over the past 2 weeks from Spaceport America in New Mexico. Per our standard protocols, we perform a meticulous post-flight inspection after each flight to identify, among other things, any maintenance that we may need to perform on the aircraft. Following Eve's last post-flight inspection, we tagged a potential wear and tear issue as requiring further evaluation and analysis to see if any additional action is necessary. For background, like everyone in the aerospace industry, we have a schedule of modifications and upgrades that we plan for each of our vehicles, and these post-flight inspections are used to validate the timing of this schedule. Our next maintenance cycle is planned for later this fall, and prior to Eve's last flight, all inspections confirmed our schedule was on track. However, following this last inspection, we identified an item on our maintenance calendar that needs further study to determine whether we need to take action now instead of the fall as planned. Because this issue just emerged at the end of last week, we are still determining what steps may be necessary to address it. While this may impact our flight test schedule, I want to emphasize that this is the nature of a test flight program, and we're going to take the time we need before moving forward. Michael, I'll turn it back to you to provide some more information on our flight schedule.
Thanks, Mike. Our spaceship Unity is currently in pre-flight procedures following the successful resolution of the EMI challenge. Unity requires our mothership to carry it on the first stage of our spaceflight, and with this late-breaking maintenance evaluation, we will report back to the market next week with an update on schedule implications to our next flight. Moving to slide 7. Upon the successful completion of this first test flight, we expect to fly a second flight, which will include 2 pilots with a full cabin of internal spaceflight participants. Our third flight will include 2 pilots, as well as Sir Richard Branson in the cabin. And our fourth flight is in partnership with the Italian Air Force. It will include 3 spaceflight participants and multiple payloads, and they will conduct astronaut training in addition to experiments during the flight. We expect this flight will demonstrate our capabilities for both microgravity research and professional astronaut training. And just to remind everyone of where we are in our journey, we expect the successful completion of this fourth flight will mark the conclusion of our test flight program. After that, we look forward to moving to commercial service. In terms of fleet expansion, I'd like to ask Swami to share some comments about this area of our business. Swami?
Thanks, Michael. Turning to slide 8, I'm excited about the opportunity to join Virgin Galactic and lead the expansion of the fleet. I've been on board for about 45 days. During that time, I've gone and seen all the facilities. I've spent significant time walking the production floor and engaging with members of the team at every level, and I've been impressed with the talent and technical expertise in the organization. One of the things that drew me to the company was that the requisite development and scale-up efforts the company is entering into are ones that are a natural fit with my experience as a test pilot and in leading aerospace manufacturing companies. So for me personally, Virgin Galactic provides me the unique opportunity to truly exercise all of my operations experience and tools to support the business and the team. Additionally, the safety, flight test, manufacturing, and engineering cultures I've observed at this company are an aggregation of the best practices from across the leading companies in the global aerospace ecosystem. That is due in no small part to the DNA of our aircraft-based spaceflight solution, which draws from a deep and broad base of 120 years of aircraft development, which in my mind provides significant safety, engineering, and manufacturing advantage in scaling up into a robust, repeatable, and reliable spaceline. In Virgin Galactic, the elegance of the design, the experience of the team, and the evolution of the technology provide the right conditions at the right time to scale into humankind's first true spaceline, and I'm honored to be a part of it. Our focus going forward will be to scale the fleet and structure our processes precisely and accurately with an emphasis on rigorous testing and safety standards. That will mean getting our final spaceflight solution configuration locked down by optimizing our spaceship, mothership, and rocket motors' performance, manufacturing methods, and supply chain. Again, leveraging off the larger aircraft industry ecosystem, we have the luxury of choosing the best of the supply base to ensure a high quality and predictable fleet expansion effort using the engineering and manufacturing excellence of our future partners. I look forward to keeping all of you in the investment community updated on the progress that we're making in this area and on future calls. Michael, back to you.
Thanks, Swami. All right, turning to slide 9. As we progress towards commercialization, we plan to create a comprehensive, multi-day consumer journey on the shoulders of our 90-minute spaceflight experience. Our goal is to ensure that the memory of this spaceflight lasts a lifetime. We believe our experience and approach will be distinct in the marketplace. We are also developing our customer brand architecture and marketing strategy. We intend to leverage the unique strength of the Virgin brand to create a bespoke experience. We'll have more to share on this area of our business as we move forward. I'd now like to turn the call over to Doug for a financial update.
Thanks, Michael, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to be here with all of you today for my first Virgin Galactic earnings call. It's now been 2 months since I joined the company. Having had some time to observe and listen, I'm even more excited about the opportunity and the team of talented individuals within the organization. I'm also looking forward to working with all of you in the investment community. Turning to slide 10. Before I review the financial results for the quarter, I wanted to begin with a few comments on our broader financial strategy. As we look to prepare and subsequently scale our fleet for commercial service, we're also positioning the organization for the launch of our consumer brand and experience. We're using these operational objectives to inform our financial planning. We're pleased that our total number of future private astronauts remains steady at approximately 600 as of the end of Q1. As we've disclosed, we plan to reopen sales for our private astronaut market around the time of the flight with Richard Branson. By reopening sales, we intend to satisfy a portion of the consumer demand with our expanding fleet size. We currently expect to have the sales funnel open for a limited period of time and plan to add a finite number of incremental members to our private astronaut community. With this approach, we'll look to build an appropriate backlog relative to the pace of our overall fleet expansion. Our goal is to address some of the consumer demand for our service while maintaining an appealing price point for the experience and an appropriate time horizon for flight for our private astronauts. We have not yet released updated pricing for our private astronaut market. We have, however, established current pricing for our microgravity research and private astronaut training markets. As we've previously discussed, we have a flight planned in partnership with the Italian Air Force that will demonstrate our capabilities for these markets. We expect this flight to generate $2 million of revenue, or the equivalent of $500,000 per seat. On a per-seat equivalent, we're now entering into agreements at $600,000 per seat. We think these are excellent results for our introduction to the market. We're quite excited about this market and the pricing dynamics we're seeing for this portion of our business. Let's review our results for the first quarter on slide 11. Since there were no flights in the quarter, we didn't generate any revenue. As we previously disclosed, in response to recent guidance issued by the SEC, we revised our accounting treatment for warrants issued in connection with the company going public in 2019. In the first quarter of this year, the new treatment resulted in a $49 million non-cash expense related to the change in fair value of warrants, compared to a non-cash expense of $317 million in the prior year period. Net loss for the first quarter was $130 million, compared to a loss of $377 million in the first quarter of 2020. The decrease in net loss was attributable to the change in the fair value of warrants. Notably, less than 10% of the originally issued warrants currently remain outstanding. Adjusted EBITDA was negative $56 million, compared to negative $53 million in the prior year period. Total operating expenses were $81 million, compared to $61 million in the prior year period. The increase in GAAP expenses was attributable to an increase in non-cash stock-based compensation expenses. Adjusted to exclude stock-based compensation, expenses were $59 million, compared to $56 million in the prior year period. Turning to capital allocation on slide 12. In the first quarter, free cash flow was a use of $50 million, compared to a use of $60 million in the first quarter of 2020. The decrease was primarily due to lower capital expenditures and favorable working capital dynamics. CapEx was $1 million in the quarter, compared to $4 million in the prior year period. Looking ahead, we anticipate second quarter free cash flow of approximately negative $60 million. Importantly, our balance sheet remains strong. We remain well capitalized with cash and cash equivalents of $617 million as of the end of the first quarter. As we've discussed, our business plan calls for the expansion of our fleet as well as the build-out of our consumer experience. We plan to use a combination of cash on hand as well as future inflows of capital to fund our strategic objectives. Historically, we've looked to take advantage of favorable market conditions to raise capital for the business. Going forward, we'll continue to evaluate opportunities to access the capital markets to grow and scale our business. I'd like to now hand the call back to Michael.
Thanks, Doug. All right, turning to slide 13. Before moving to Q&A, I want to take a moment to thank our entire team who have been working diligently on our strategic objectives. And just to restate, our focus remains on the following three areas: fleet readiness, fleet expansion, and the development of the customer experience. Operator, I think we are now ready to begin the Q&A portion of the call.
Thank you. As a reminder, to ask a question, you need to press *1 on your telephone. To withdraw your question, press the pound key. And your first question comes from the line of Robert Spingarn from Credit Suisse. Your line is open.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Rob.
Michael. Hey, Michael. Just a question about the market and the two players. So both Galactic and Blue Origin are now approaching commercial service, and they may send up a passenger as soon as July if they stay on target. And it sounds like you'll update us on your schedule next week. How important are your relative schedules, especially from a future order capture perspective?
Sure. One, as I've shared before, we're really excited to have multiple people basically paving new territory for human spaceflight and being able to take private citizens into space. This is something that I think most of us in the world would not have guessed, even a few years ago, that this was going to happen in our lifetimes, and yet here it is upon us. So I think it's really important that Blue have great success, that we will have great success, because it will normalize the idea of human spaceflight to the market. And I think the more people that are able to go up and get this perspective back on the planet, the more their voices are going to come back and just inspire and engage other people and add more pressure into the market overall. So we're very excited for them. To your question on does the timing matter, I think we have a company that's being built over years and decades, as does Blue. And so while I think there will be great media attention around both moments when we are going up into space, I don't think it matters to our business overall.
Okay, and then just a quick one for Doug. On the cash burn that you just talked about, how does it progress beyond Q2? So how do we see $60 million evolving beyond Q2 from a quarterly burn perspective? And is there a minimum cash balance at which point you'd want to return to the capital markets?
Thanks for the question. So we haven't given specific guidance, on a long-term cash burn, but there are multiple dynamics in play to think about. The first one is cash inflows. As we reopen ticket sales, we'll get those cash inflows coming in. Plus, as we approach commercial service, we'll collect the remainder of those that revenue for those flights. And on the other side, as we expand our manufacturing capacity, you would see an increase in CapEx as we scale the business and build out our fleet. So you have those two things working together. And then as we ramp up to high volume production, you get a nice economic model with a good flow through because we have what we expect to be a low variable cost strategy. So you would have nice flow through of the revenue to the bottom line. So with all of that, we haven't put a minimum cash amount out there, but certainly want to have all the flexibility to grow and scale the business as needed.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Rob.
Your next question comes from the line of Miles Walton from UBS. Your line is open.
Thanks, Andy. I was wondering if I could ask Mike Moses to maybe elaborate a little bit more on the maintenance issue discovered on Eve last week. If that was an issue that was pre-existing on the checklist to do during the downtime of fall, and was it one of the larger items to do or one of the smaller items to do? And then maybe for Michael, on the back of that, with this as sort of a single point, clearly a single point in the critical path to flight, how does it make you think about maybe having to pull forward CapEx on the White Knight to a second one?
Thanks, Miles. So the item we found on Eve, maybe let me just give some context of how those protocols and that maintenance program is established, which is actually very common in aerospace systems. We have a series of inspections and preventative maintenance tasks that are designed to kind of track and maintain the vehicles and look at them not only in the instance of the next flight or the next several, but also looking at their lifetime and their ongoing health. And as with all complex systems, we have scheduled periods to allow for those modifications and upgrades that we deem necessary. And as we previously said, and as you're alluding to, we had flight one planned for this fall with Eve and our other vehicles. So those inspections let us determine whether those modifications and the schedule for that is on track and valid and react to anything unexpected. So after the pair of last flights that we did last week for pilot training, we did flag an issue that was on our calendar to be addressed later in the fall, but that required some further assessment to just basically double check, is that still a valid plan, or do we need to potentially accelerate and address that item sooner than later? So that's the type of thing we're looking at. And I guess I'll just say that, this is the difference between this as a flight test program and issues where we fly, we inspect, we monitor, we adapt, versus the regular cadence that you would head to in a commercial service program. That is one of those things that upcoming modification period was specifically meant to address, is move the vehicles into that footing.
All right, and Miles, you're talking about the potential to pull forward CapEx on a second ship. What I'd say is we are very excited to grow the fleet. And as we've mentioned, we have started the programs both for Spaceship 3. We had our first unveiling of our first unit of Spaceship 3, VSS Imagine, back in March. But also we've initiated the program, what we're calling the Delta class of spaceships, which would be more of a production model, I would say, going forward. At the same time, we have initiated the program development for a new mothership, because as we scale up to the volumes we need, we'll definitely need more motherships. So this kind of maintenance topic that we kind of had pop up on us at the end of last week, and that we're going to sort through and come back to you all with update on the market. We'll do that next week. This maintenance piece isn't going to really impact the timing of our second mothership program. That's off and going. It is in the early design stage, which is relatively low financial expenditures, as you're aware. And I think it'll stay in that design phase for a little while until we settle on where we're going. So I don't think it changes our plan going forward, Miles, but it does, just to kind of reemphasize, we have programs kicked off both on new motherships as well as spaceships going forward.
Okay. And Mike, sorry, just to come back for a second, just to clarify, you don't know if you'll have to do the issue. You're still evaluating whether or not that will have to be done. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct, Miles. So pretty late breaking in that we found it in the inspections we were doing after our last flight, which was Tuesday of last week. And so the team brought that up. We've done some extra inspections, and we're kind of in the middle of analysis now. We'll be able to make a determination here pretty soon, and we'll get back to you all next week with a market update, as Michael said.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Miles.
Your next question comes from the line of Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Hey, everybody. Just one simple clarification on the deposits. Can you remind us how large the deposit is as a percentage of the seats on the space flight? I didn't know if there was prior disclosure on that, or one we could kind of think about within a range for when you reopen the funnel.
I don't believe we put prior disclosure on the size of the deposits. We have put prior disclosure out that while the price varied a little from moment to moment, generally our last price point out was $250,000 per seat, I guess, if you will. And we have shared that we do expect that price will be going higher when we are able to reopen sales up. So that, I think, has been closed. I don't think we've talked about the scale of the deposits yet.
Okay. Okay, that's fine, Michael. And just a second one from me. You mentioned that once you do the third flight, the two pilots and Richard Branson, that you would then make the move towards commercial service. Can you help us, because that moment seems very important, I would imagine, for both OpEx and CapEx. Can you help dimension that for us, and what one could think about at this preliminary stage of modeling that point between the third flight and then that path to commercial, also in terms of what kind of gap, or what order of magnitude of gap are we talking, months, quarters, between the Richard flight and the first non-Richard, let's say, commercial flight? Thanks.
Sure. Let me take a shot at it, and feel free to come back if I didn't quite catch the question perfectly. So let me go back to what we'd shared kind of at our last quarterly update, which is we planned to be having our next flight going in May, and we had then 2 more flights following, kind of one with an internal crew and one with Sir Richard Branson. We shared we expected those to go in the summer. And then we have a 4th test flight that we talked about that will be a revenue-producing flight with the Italian Air Force, and we thought that would be in late summer, early fall, and that's what we talked about on the last earnings call. And we're looking forward to coming back next week and giving an update to that, as Mike Moses just shared. We're in flight test. We flagged a maintenance topic, and so we'll sort that out and come back to the market with an update more specifically for you all there. Now, as to your question of, well, what happens as you then move into commercial service? As we shared on the last call, following the flight that we planned with the Italian Air Force, kind of our 4th test flight, we have a period of time. We estimated, I think at that point, at about 4 months is what our estimates are. And we will be lining up basically upgrades and modifications to that have been planned, as well. These upgrades and modifications are to help reliability of predicting flight cadence as we also will be then doing updates on the first of our Spaceship 3 vehicles, VSS, and making the modifications these modification periods. So following that kind of period of modification and upgrade, Adam, is when we would move into commercial service, and we'll start commercial service with Spaceship Unity and Eve. So that will start, I'd say, so I don't think you'll see a giant uptick in OpEx at that standpoint, right? That's going to come more as we scale the fleet over time. But you will see different categories of OpEx because into the area around Spaceport America and actually flying them and hosting them. So I think it will be a more modest uptick in OpEx at that point relative to revenues that you would be seeing, though.
Appreciate the extra color, Michael. Thanks.
Thanks, Adam.
Your next question comes from the line of Ron Epstein from Bank of America. Your line is open. Again, Ron Epstein from Bank of America. Your line is open.
Yeah, hello. Sorry about that. I was on mute.
Hi, Ron.
Back in February, you guys gave us an indicator that there was maybe a hair under folks. Do you have any sense on, is there any measure on incremental yeah, it was just February of 2020, actually. Any incremental interest? I mean, how can you share with us any incremental demand, anything like that? Because, again, in the release, you said there's 600 astronauts. It's been 600 for a while. Just trying to get us in demand for you guys.
Sure. And one thing I kind of flagged there, it has been 600 for a while, and we think that's because there's great excitement for this. So we haven't shared guidance on where demand will go. What Doug was talking about today is we want to continue to keep an overhang, basically kind of build a book of demand that runs in advance of our spaceship fleet capacity. Obviously, we have 600, and we haven't entered commercial service yet, so that overhang of demand has been going for a while. But as we begin commercial service, as we then move our second spaceship, Imagine, into commercial service as it completes its flight test program, and so forth with further ships, we plan to basically continue to build that overhang going forward, so there's always demand pressure against it. We believe there is going to be really great demand. I think you look at the excitement all around the human space flight concept, and you see it in multiple players in the market. I think you're going to see it, as we mentioned, with Blue's launch coming up. We think this is going to be fantastic, and that the initial people that come back from these space flights will be just so raving that will continue to further demand going forward. What we also talked about and what Doug was mentioning today is we're very excited about the demand for also microgravity research as well as training for professional astronauts. And what we did share today is some price points that we've been seeing on the initial flights of those that we are encouraged by, because that's going to be an important slice of our capacity and the slices of our market. So we are very confident and robust feeling on the demand, but we haven't released any specifics for you here.
Got it. And then with the pricing question is sort of the next one, the next direction I want to go a little bit. Do you have a sense for your pricing vis-a-vis your competitors? So, you know, if I'm going to fly on a trip on Blue versus a trip on you guys, is it comparably priced? Are they more expensive? Are you more expensive? Do you guys have any sense of that?
Well, so to my knowledge, I think what they're doing is, as I understand, putting out effectively an auction for one seat on their first flight. And I think that's exciting. I honestly bet it'll be a pretty high price if I had to guess, and I think that will add excitement. I'm sure Blue will take advantage of it. And I think that's really great because it will show just how amazing this opportunity is going to be. I'm not sure where Blue will settle their prices out. You know, we'll see how that plays out over time. What I know we will do is ensure that the value that we deliver, fly with us and the astronauts who train with us, is going to be so outstanding. I don't think the price points that we charge as we launch our commercial business will be the topic. It will be, how can I get a seat? And so that's really the goal for our company, is ensuring the value is there, and we feel really strong about that.
And then maybe just one last more technical question, if I may. With the EMI issue that's popped up, and then the post-flight inspection issue that might be an issue, it raises the question just around fleet reliability. How are you thinking about that as you ramp up commercial apps? Because as the cadence of launches goes quicker, and the utilization of the assets will be more. And maybe one of the things I worry about is just, will the assets be robust enough to execute the plan that you want them to, the way you want them to?
Thanks for asking that question. It's an important one. And I'd like to call out what I'd say is a difference between a flight test program and commercial operations. Right? In a flight test program, every time we fly, we are looking to confirm that we are on the right path and ready for the next flight test, or, we're going to make some modifications based upon the data analysis that we have. And the essence of that flight test program, which is not a unique piece for Virgin Galactic, that's schedule along the way, and we are making adjustments after each of these tests going forward. Now, what we talked about today with Eve, our mothership, is really a question of planned maintenance schedules. And we're trying to come back to you and confirm, are we going to maintain doing this on our planned maintenance schedule, which we had said was going to be in October, or are we going to go forward or pull that forward? We're going to come back and talk to you about that next week. But then if I could shift the concept from flight test, which is what we're doing now, into commercial operations. Commercial operations require much more robustness and predictability in how we fly our ships. So one of the reasons we have this down period with Eve, our mothership, and Unity in the fall is to make some modifications that will let the flight rates on those be more predictable. As you've heard us discuss our Spaceship 3 class with VSS Imagine as the first of those, the very purpose modular design, the very purposeful inclusion of all the learnings that we've had from Unity have gone into the design and manufacturing of those spaceships intentionally to allow for greater predictability and kind of I call it a return time, right? Once we fly, how quickly do we fly again? And what we're talking about with the Delta class of spaceships is when we basically locked all that profile down, and now you're basically building a production model, and you've got kind of ongoing consistency and repetition in the way our operations work. So you're accurately calling out commercial operations will be more reliable and repeatable. I'd just like to emphasize we're in flight test, and this is what you should expect to see in flight test. I think it's somewhat unique that flight test is happening in a pre-revenue public company, and so that's why we often have these calls, which is good. But that's important information to share, and I appreciate you bringing that topic up.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Doug Harnett from Bernstein. Your line is open.
Thank you. Good evening. When you think about going through these 4 flights, what things are you looking for to be confident you're where you want to? Some of those flights, they were completed. They had some issues. What do you need to see here? In other words, how kind of issue-free do you need to be confident you're ready to go?
Sure. Hi, Doug, by the way. Excellent question. So let's talk about this upcoming flight, the next one we do. As Mike talked about, we have new controllers in that will give more precise handling on the flight control surfaces as we go. We've tested those in glide flight with great results, meaning we kind of test them, we do kind of some high-speed runs and pull back, but we do need to test those out under a powered flight. And so the next flight we have with just the 2 pilots is really to prove that out. We have great confidence from what we've seen in the system, but we want to see it operate under a powered flight. That is I'll call it a technical test that we're looking for. And as always we do on all of our powered flights, we'll continue to evaluate just the overall performance of the ships and how the experience looks across it. So then let's go to the next flight with a full crew of mission specialists in the back. The new piece of information for that flight is we've got full crew of people in the back. And how is the experience for those folks in the back? How are their movements around the cabin? How do they want to kind of find where the views are and the great pieces there? We will also kind of confirm that what we saw on the prior flight, the first one with the 2 pilots, is repeating, right? Because you want to see kind of repetition and consistency there. But the first one has a technical back. The next 2 are rinse and repeat isn't necessarily what an aerospace term would be, but that's. And this time we wanted Richard to come in as our founder and kind of chief adventurer and say, okay, is this what I've been envisioning all the way along here? And add, kind of that flavor and that feedback into the overall experience. And we think that will be an excellent way to demonstrate what the private astronaut flight will be. And we intend to kind of make some noise about that as we go forward. And then the 4th flight, again, we're still basically repeating the same test objectives on the others, just getting repetition under our belt. The 4th flight will then be our other 2 markets, microgravity research and professional astronaut training. There are some things that we'll adapt on our ground operations. There are some things that we'll adapt about how the ship performs in space to focus on what the researchers need. So we'll adapt that and also use that as our demonstration flight. So that's each one of those stages. We will look for generally consistency in what we saw there, but we won't be looking necessarily for something new.
I guess 2 things. I'm just trying to picture. There have been a few questions that have gone around this, but for instance, Eve is, I believe, about 13 years old at this stage. You've now got the Spaceship 3 coming out, which is great. So you've got these assets. How do you expect them to be? Because I'm thinking both just in terms of what anomalies you might be looking for on the test flights, as well as just the aging of these aircraft in very different environments than we've seen for most other types of aircraft.
Sure, I'll start out, and gentlemen, feel free to kick in. So Eve, and I don't recall the exact age, but let's go with 13 years, as you said, is a lot, right? It's not like it's a commercial airliner flying back and forth every day, putting flight hours on it at that time. So its number of flight hours, I'd say, are reasonably modest as far as airframes go. Eve is important to make sure that as we move into commercial service, that it has gone through some updates and modifications that will allow it to fly with consistent cadence. Right? That's really what we're looking to do there, so that we're not kind of looking on a flight-by-flight basis and making sure we're ready, that we've got good predictability. So we need people to be able to plan their trips to us and things like that. So I think that's kind of a normal evolution for Eve from a flight test program there. I'll let on age, but I would kind of highlight from an hours basis, it's still fairly low use, I guess, compared to a normal airframe.
Yeah, that's correct. Its first flight was in 2008, and the last flight we just flew was number 293. So from an airframe perspective, from an airliner or anything like that, we'd still kind of be probably in the break-in period. So we don't put a lot of timer cycles, even though the profile we fly is certainly a unique one. And I think in terms of its life expectancy, right, a composite aircraft by definition really has some advantages over an aluminum framed aircraft when it comes to lifetime. But it's certainly something that still needs to be monitored and addressed, which is what we're talking about when we talk about these ongoing maintenance inspection cycles. We have an engineering-based assessment as to what that life would be, how parts will wear and fatigue over time, and the wear and tear that they'll see. And we're monitoring along the way to see if that is on schedule, ahead of schedule, behind schedule, so we can adjust our program, so that we don't want to do too much maintenance, or you can cause problems if you over-correct and over-examine the plane. You don't want to be on the side either where you're doing it too little. And so this is this ongoing continuous feedback improvement maintenance monitoring program, as well as the motherships. But in terms of lifetime, while we put them through a unique environment on them, and that's all part of the design basis. And then as we talk about the next class, the Delta class and next mothership, we'll be able to bake those lessons learned up front, and you hit the ground running even faster with those new models that come on the line.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Your line is open.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Can you maintenance issue is what specifically needs to be addressed?
Yeah, so specific time and health. There's a couple of issues, that we want to track and make sure that we see how the vehicle ages over time, and how we address that. And basically, it's pretty common to all aircraft systems. We monitor these items and we regularly evaluate the updates. So we have plans in place identified here, do some modifications this fall. But what we flagged right now recently is we want to go double check that maintenance schedule based on the recent observations to make sure we don't need to do something earlier than that. So that's basically, we're looking at a family of items that relate to fatigue and long-term stress.
So in simple terms, you just want to make sure it's not fatigued or stressed enough that it
Exactly, that's a great way to simplify it, right? So wear and tear is a natural thing, right? Every item, whether it's an airplane or a spaceship or whatever it is, follows that, and you have a predicted model of when those things reach a place where you need to either refurbish, repair, upgrade, and do preventative maintenance. And so this is a check to see that the schedule that we have predicted is still valid and that we don't need to do it in an accelerated manner. If we determine we will, that's exactly what we're going to go do. Obviously, at the end of the day, safe dispatch and safe flight is our #1 priority, but that's the purpose of taking this extra time right now before we set a flight date.
What's a reasonable amount of time it would for stress issues such as this one?
Well, in terms of analyzing and assessing it, I think we're probably on a very short time scale, just given that we flew on Tuesday of last week, and the inspections that we did involve a visual inspection, a camera or a borescope into small places, and then scan techniques, non-destructive inspection techniques using pulse echo, ultrasound, resonance scans, things like that that allow you to kind of non-destructively look through the skin like you would go to the doctor and get an MRI or an X-ray. And so we use a combination of those two techniques. Those results give you an image map that you then have to kind of not only look at the absolute value, but do a relative comparison to the last time you scanned, and you're looking for comparison. So that takes on the order of a week or so to gather the data, analyze it, plug it back into our model, turn it around, and get an answer. So that's why, unfortunately, the timing of this flight last week and the earnings call today didn't give us quite enough time to get to that final answer, which is why we'll come and give an update next week.
And what about performing the actual maintenance?
For that, I think a little too early in the path to decide what that is. We know what we were planning to do this fall, and part of this will be assessing how much of that either needs to be done early or do we partially do part of that upgrade. So a little too early to tell.
Okay.
Your next question comes from the line of Oliver Chen from Cowen. Your line is open.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon. Regarding FAA approvals, how do the ones that you need, and also regarding your brand and the brand architecture towards, and what are your thoughts from the architecture point of view and how you'll set yourself apart? Thank you.
So I'll take the FAA one and Mike kind of kick in because I missed something. But we have two remaining provisos on our commercial license with the FAA. And as we said before, fundamentally, we will look to this next flight we do. We need to have just a nice complete flight that goes to space, and we gather all the data around that, and as well as kind of some of the data that happens in the cabin itself that's there. And we'll turn that data set into the FAA. They know the data set that they need. We know what it is. They know we're going to turn it in. And then it will be in the FAA's hands, to turn it back around. But we expect to get that data on the next flight. We do need to get to space to complete that data set, and so that's really the only thing in front of us right now. So we expect to do that after this next flight. Now, as to the kind of consumer brand and brand architecture, we will come back with a very robust overview of how we are going to establish our place in space, because I think it will be very unique to Virgin Galactic and what we're doing here. But in broad strokes, we are focused on the experience that we will be providing to our astronauts. This is going to be incredibly transformational, and the moments that will be spent weightless, even though we have kind of a 90-minute flight profile, even though we've got this kind of great way of taking off with our horizontal takeoff and horizontal landing, and the flight to space up will be exhilarating, the moments in weightlessness, the moments looking back to the Earth across the course of a lifetime are relatively fleeting. And so we will be taking a point of view that says, how do we prepare these astronauts such that they are so ready to take in the emotion of that moment that the memory becomes so strong and so core that they can't help but share that for the rest of their lives. There is a lot of art and science that will go behind the work that we do in this, both at our consumer brand positions and the actual experience that we will deliver. And we're looking forward to kind of bringing that forward. I think you'll see us talk most about that in the area around the Richard Branson flight. We think that's the appropriate time to bring that to the market. But it will be very unique. Other people will go to space, and we're excited for them, but we're very confident in our place in space and how we will deliver it. We think it will be sustainably differentiated.
Thank you. Very helpful. And I know we'll get an update next week, but as you articulate, reevaluating the launch timing of that first test flight. Asked in another way, what are some of the parameters like within your control, and some of the parameters not as well within your control that you're analyzing right now for the launch timing of the first flight?
Sure. Well, I'll take a shot at this and Mike, kick in here. I say we run off the facts, right? So that's generally what's going on. So we, as Mike said, we have planned maintenance cycles, planned enhancement cycles. We've announced one. It will be in October. We also then do routine maintenance inspections and routine daily maintenance on ships after they fly. And the way we evaluate these things is based upon basically the data analysis of what we see on the various components of the ships. So we have a whole, that data rolls into our engineering team that compares that data against our expectations. Our piece here, then we do that. And not answer the what's in your control or not. It's all in our control based upon the facts that we see, and then we go forward with safety as our guiding principle, and then just practical business of maintaining aircraft and airframes and spaceships over time. Mike, anything you'd want to add there?
Yeah, Michael, I think you hit that well. We definitely follow a rationale and a decision process that is very factual based, and the data leads us to where we go. So things like double checking. What if those assumptions are wrong? Is the problem bounded? Do we have a good physics-based understanding of the model we're using to make these predictions? Is it grounded in test? All of that comes to play. So along there, we have some variability in the rigor of standard which we apply against, and we can choose to put in a fix that we know is going to last us a lifetime versus one that says, just get us to the mod cycle we have planned. So the safe and reliable and repeatable flights is where we're really going to head. So yeah, I don't think I have much to say that what's in our control and not in our control from short and long-term choices. But the facts will be what they are, and that will drive our decision pretty straightforward.
Take one last question, please.
Certainly. Our Skibisky from Alembeck Global. Your line is open.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, how are you? Just one question for me, guys. We've talked a lot about the kind of the spaceship manufacturing and upgrade cadence on the call here, but I'm wondering if you could maybe take it down a level for us to kind of think about in 2022, 2023, as you're ramping in your flights. The spaceship gets used a certain amount of time, but I think the plan is to basically reload the rocket every time with new propellant, and so it seems like that's going to be kind of a high volume, maybe the highest volume kind of aspect to the manufacturing and flight process. So can you talk about how you're kind of retiring risk on that aspect of the program, just because it seems like there's not that many people out there that are going to go through that many rocket cases and propellant as you guys plan to. So I'd just love your thoughts on that part of the program.
Sure. I'll start this one and look over at Mike and Swami. Feel free to kick in. The propulsion system, I'll use that we have, is a hybrid rocket motor propulsion system that has been evaluated extremely thoroughly, and we are very confident in its robustness. It includes a tank where liquid nitrous oxygen is used as an oxidizer against have really great quality and confirmation that we like the configuration that we're using. What the real opportunity for us is as we move from going through flight test and move and scale up to commercial operations, we can shift our manufacturing environment because we know what this looks like. We've got our configuration settled, and basically move that into a factory setting and continue to kind of evaluate and improve our propulsion systems. Fundamentally, we are looking in this case to shift more to a factory mode to drive down the cost of that particular item that we use. Mike or Swami, anything you'd like to add into that?
I'll just so since I've come in, I've sat down with the team and gone through each of the different components, particularly the rocket motor supply base, and where we're going to have conversations about how we bring that together from an outsourcing strategy and from a construction and management strategy. So what that really means is, to boil it down, we're fairly vertically integrated in the way we build these things. Now we're looking at what kind of position in the factory we want for scale and match it to the curve of commercial flights we intend to have over the next few years. And I'm putting a high emphasis on supplier quality, supplier roll throughput yield, and first pass yield on those products that are going to come to us, assembly techniques, and then driving out the per unit COGS of each of the rocket motors. Once we get into that position, I'll get a sense of how I would optimize that. But that strategy is prepared fairly well. I'm just diving in to make sure that it's appropriate to the industry and we're picking the right partners. And so it's actually probably the most mature going forward that I would have expected coming here. So I'm quite impressed with what I've seen. Now it's just making sure we get the right suppliers, the right deals to make the OpEx going forward something we want.
Okay, thanks for the color, guys.
And this concludes our Q&A session. Mr. Michael Kohlglaser, I turn the call back over to you for some closing comments.
Hey, thank you all for joining today's call. Thanks for the questions we had and for those who joined in to listen. We appreciate your continued interest and support, and we look forward to updating you on our flight status next week. So for today, thanks very much. Come back to you shortly.
And this does conclude today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.
Alrighty, yeah, I'm gonna mute this. Whoop whoop. Ladies and gentlemen, that was CEO Michael Kohlglaser and a whole lot of people that are part of the Virgin Galactic team, and so. That was an interesting call. Now, first and foremost, I do apologize for the dropouts. I don't know what that was all about. To be honest with you, I've never had an issue like that before, so I don't know if they just maybe, I don't know. They spent so much money on the spaceship, the rocket ship, and everything. You know, going up to space that they didn't spend too much on the I guess the internet feed coming across. I refreshed it like 3 times. Everything else is working fine, so I would say it's just something on their end and buffering, whatever. But anyway, so here's the big takeaway. The big takeaway, flight update next week. All right, so they have a flight update next week based on the information that they have, the analysis, so forth and so on. They're continuing. They're going to do a whole bunch of different flights coming up. There was a question that was asked, and they were talking about the competition with Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos' company, and what they're doing. And then you got obviously Elon Musk and SpaceX and then Virgin Galactic. All 3 of them are kind of like doing a little bit of a different thing, but in a similar realm. But anyway, there's somebody said it kind of seems like there's going to be a commercial flight sometime before July, so or sometime by the end of July. So it sounds like they're going to try to get everything squared away, go through all their flight tests and everything, and then they're going to put Sir Richard Branson up there and send him to space, and then come back and then do I think one more test they said, and then I believe they do the commercial flights after that. So yes, so yeah, it won't be long. I think they said the initial ticket was $60-some $1,000. So hey, there you go, $60K. You'll send you to space. So all you have to do is just buy some crypto, buy some stock, buy something to just make that $60K, and then you can just go to space. There you go. Your crypto could send you to the moon instead of the crypto going to the moon or the stock going to the moon. You can go to the moon. Actually, not to the moon, but you can go to space. You can be close enough to see the moon, right? Closer than normal. Can't beat that. But excuse me. But anyway, so a quick recap for those of you. Virgin Galactic SPCE currently sitting in the after hours at $16.39, down 8.9% now. In the after hours, it was down 8.4% in the regular trading day. So it's already going down even further, despite, again, they did miss on earnings. So there's that. It does sound like they are trying their hardest to get everything done, and and they're moving forward with the company and whatnot. So, but we'll see where they go from there from a market standpoint. But anyway, there's all the deets, and what I said, Virgin Galactic's Q1 EPS was minus 55% and missed the minus 27 cent estimate. So by again, that was 103.7%. It's an 88.33% decrease of losses of minus 30% per share over the same period last year. So that's your update on that. But hey, we got all the deets. We got all the information. There's that. I want to thank you to each and every one of you for being a part of the Virgin Galactic earnings special right here on Pop the Chart. I want to say thank you to Helder, by the way. Said Helder subbed. So thank you, Helder, for subbing. Ryan was in here. We had Mike Angel. We had Jason and Juan. Then we had Blue Goldens came in. Greg Williams, thank you to each and every one of you for coming in and being a part of the show. Remember, before you leave, please click that like button. If you haven't subbed yet, hit the subscribe button. If you want to come check the show out, do the show each day. Market open all the way through market close. So come on in. I'll be here tomorrow at 9:25 a.m. is when I come in each day. Jinzy Machado just came in and said, "What's up, Zap? How you doing? Welcome." I appreciate each and every one of you, by the way, for being a part of the show. Like I said, feel free to join us if you missed it, if you come in late and you just missed the earnings special with the earnings call with Michael Colglazier and the team at Virgin Galactic. You can always rewind back and watch it and listen to it over again. I apologize for the little dropouts. I can't control that. It was out of my control. But anyway, we got all the information right there for you. It's gonna be right here. It's listed on Pop the Chart. But then come check me out again on my live stream. I'll be back tomorrow, 9:25 a.m. I'll take you from market open all the way through market close, and hopefully the market will be a lot better than it was today. But again, thank you to each and every one of you. And Jinzy, thank you. I just shout out to you, Jinzy. Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. Feel free to join me tomorrow. Corey, host of Pop the Chart, heading out. Have a good Monday evening. See you tomorrow. Bye.